Hey there, CJ students. Today you're going to take your deep dive into religious. Remember to annotate, look for specific examples of students being religious. This is 2018, authored by Mr. Houlihan. Those who have gathered here today have been 14-year-old kids. I dare say almost all of us. And if you still remember that time, whether it was recently or long ago, you probably remember a time similar to the one I'm remembering. And let's face it, being religious is really hard at that age. It's rarely popular, and it's never easy. But it is possible for a person, even at this age, to take seriously and grow enormously from his pursuit of being religious. In the Gospel of John, chapter 13, Jesus gives his famous commandment, love one another. He's about to leave his disciples behind, and one of the last things he orders them to do is to love. Then he adds this little extra line and says, "This is how all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." So we don't always need to see someone's inside to see their faith. Sometimes it will simply be as simple and as obvious as Jesus tells us it will be. There won't be any doubt or mystery to it at all. This is how all will know. And they will know simply by looking at how you live out your dedication to loving other people. Good example of religious. That's what will show your religion. So, once I sat with this idea for a while, it became more and more obvious to me why the selection of this student as exemplifying this trait in an amazing and uncommon way for such a young man was so easy. The people who are sitting right over there, point to the 8th graders on the stage, that's why when I sat down with them back in March to talk about these very awards, they so rapidly, enthusiastically nominated him and then argued for this award to go to him. You could sit in just one 8th grade class and watch a dozen kindnesses play out before you, or do something kind for him, even of the smallest sort, and watch the gratitude on his face. When Jesus told us to love each other, to appreciate and care for each other as he did for us, he gave us a path to follow. It's a bumpy and windy path for sure, but I have to say, watching Ravon Washington try to navigate that path with all the obstacles and difficulties life sends our way, and how he meets them, it's so clear. Right now, we know. But in time, all will know. Ravon, I'm proud of you. Congratulations. So again, this idea of living out love, living by code, is religious. 2019, authored by Mr. Swanson. Good afternoon, CJ. To understand religious, grad, let's break down the word religious. Religio means reverence, obligation. The suffix us means full of or possessing. So, as we discussed in LAR this year, our literal breakdown would be full of reverence or possessing obligation. Religious, at its core, means holding reverence and obligation to some higher authority, whether that be God or a general rule of life or a set of principles. Louis Tanizaka is a young man who exemplifies understanding of religious. Louis' devotion to a faith-driven kindness and excellence shows up in the biggest and smallest moments of his daily life. His faithful devotion to kindness leads him to treat others with a loving heart and to be committed to pursuing justice in the world. His faithful devotion to excellence bears the fruit of intellectual competence through hard work and focus and makes him open to growth so that he can adapt and grow as a person God created him to be. Because of Louis's faith devotion, we can witness flourishing of all the grad values in his daily actions and choices. Stopping to encourage a classmate who is feeling down, taking an extra moment to check over homework, asking for help on assignments, or looking out for a classmate who doesn't feel included. All of these actions and choices are tangible representations of all grad values, but it's his devotion to the rule of life, directed by a faith in God, that undergirds and gives life to these choices. Louis's intentional choice to live by these principles is an exemplar for what religious looks like in day-to-day life. But don't just take it from me. Students named people who exemplify leadership when writing their first benefactor letters. Time and time again, Mr. Tanizaka came up. One student explained, "A good leader I know is my classmate Louis Tanizaka because he always does the right thing, even though he doesn't have to. He sets a good example for all of fellow classmates and those that are younger than him." Another student explained, when Mr. Tanizaka came to CGA in 7th grade, he showed great leadership. When he learned the rules of CGA, he set an example by following them. A lot of other students started to look up to Mr. Tanizaka. Both peers identified Mr. Tanizaka's devotion to rules and principles, but not for fear of punishment, not to be noticed, but as a choice to make the world around him a better place. Mr. Tanizaka accomplishes this goal of making the world a better place every day through his faithful devotion to kindness and excellence. For that reason, it is my honor and joy to award Louis Tanizaka with the Religious Grad Award today. So just like you have in the past, you're going to go onto the back side and you're going to say, all right, here's the definition of religious. What might a third or fourth grader give you? Hey, I pray. I set up a chapel. What is a seventh or eighth grader going to give you? Again, that idea of living your life to a golden rule, right? Think about a concrete personal example that you want to share, and then the artifact that will go with that example. It could be a picture, could be a physical thing, could be a prayer missal, whatever it may be. And what's your strengths and areas of growth? And finally, how does the striving, aspiring language help you with the only goal our lives should be, which is to live with God forever?